All right, guys. Welcome to my experience, my C19 experience. You know, it's been a long, lonely, and dark road to get to where I'm at right now. I gotta tell you, if you've never been through this before, if you've never been through COVID-19, where you were hospitalized, away from everybody, I can honestly tell you it is a long, lonely, dark road to be on. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because really the truth is it's to really help you to decide what you want to do and how you want to care for yourself and the people that you love. Okay? I'm going to share with you my personal experience. Everyone has a different experience. Everybody has a story. Everyone's unique. That's the way God made us. He made our stories unique, specialized, individualized, and customized. So what I'm just going to share with you is some things that I went through, okay? First, I want to say that the staff at Baylor Scott and White Medical Center, Centennial in Frisco, was 100% perfect in my book. You know, when you go into the emergency room, you first thing you want to do is, first thing you're going to ask yourself is, am I under the right care? Am I under the right care, under the right people, under the right guidance, under the right spirit, under the right holiness? That's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is question if you really are. Because what if the person that's serving you, the nurse, the frontline worker, is going through a divorce, is having a bad day, is not doing well personally and interpersonally? You know, what if they come in with that kind of energy around you? What do you think is going to happen? Are they going to mistreat you? Are they going to discount you? Are they going to invalidate you? Are they going to minimize you? Are they going to marginalize you? Because when you walk into an emergency room, that's the first thing. Those are the first things that come into your mind. Is the person going to be holy, helpful, and healing towards me? Or are they going to be unhealthy, unhelpful, unhealing, and really jeopardize my life? But I'll say it again when I started this. Baylor Scott and White Medical Center, Centennial, is the absolute best treatment I could have received. When I walked in, to be quite honest with you, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know that I was going to be there for 10 days. I didn't know that. Or I don't even know how long I was there. From the 3rd to the 12th, so 11 days, 10 days, And I got to tell you, I didn't know what to expect. But I was there, and I can tell you that the staff at Baylor Scott and White Medical Center, Centennial, is 100% an A+ rating in my book. Just to give you a little snapshot of how far to understand my journey with this COVID-19 stuff. In 2020, when this stuff started breaking out, I got real sick. Like the first 2 months, I was sick. I went to Frisco. I went to Baylor Scott and White Frisco by the fire station over here. I begged them and pleaded with them to give me a COVID-19 test. They refused. They gave me everything except for COVID. So for 3 months, I was sick. Didn't know. I knew I had the flu. I knew I possibly had mono. They refused to test me for COVID. So I spent the next 3 months wondering, kind of scared, to be quite honest with you, about whether I had COVID or not. I never found out. But when I had to go through the process of trying to get answers, the experience was less than stellar. People told me they didn't know the answer. They told me that It doesn't matter anyways because we're going to treat it like it's the flu. Sure, we can look back at it and say we didn't have enough information. That's cool. That's fine. It's the way and the manner you handle this kind of stuff is what really carries the weight. Look, I'm actually talking about a negative experience that happened 2 years ago. So that should tell you the experience I had. It was horrible. Fast forward to this month, the 3rd of August, Baylor Scott and White Centennial Medical Center was fantastic. I really appreciate them. Now look, here's the deal. When I came in, I was at 6 days trying to fight it on my own, fight this virus on my own. And I got to tell you, it was the hardest, it was the most evil, diabolical experience that I ever been a part of in my entire life. Because I felt like a tearing of my flesh while I was going through temperature changes. I was my flesh felt like it was tearing apart inside me. And this is 6 days without going to the doctor, and I tried to fight it, and I tossed and turned and soaked so many sheets, washed them over and over again, trying to get well and trying to flush out whatever was in me, this contaminant that was inside my soul. So for 6 days, I fought this battle with very little help, and with a girlfriend that probably shouldn't have been next to me in the first place. But that's nor here nor there. She was there to help me. She could tell that I was suffering. She wanted to help me. 6 days, I finally decided I had reached 103 temperature, and I checked into the emergency room, and then they sent me to ICU. Then they sent me immediately, admitted me to the ICU. And from that point on, when you're in a situation like that, I had already fought 6 days, so my body was already like 6 days. I already fought this for 6 days. Now what they're gonna do, what they did was they started pumping me up with the necessary supplements, the necessary steroids, the antibiotics. They pumped me up with everything they could to make sure that I got well. Honestly, I just sat there and took it. Shot here, shot in this vein, 8 shots in my hands, shots in my arms, shots in my stomach, my abdomen, my arm. At least I had about 100 plus shots while I was hospitalized, at least or more. The fluids, pumping fluids in me, make sure that my lungs didn't carry water. I had a medium case of pneumonia, which probably helped me that I didn't have a severe case. But I was sitting there and I'm just having these things, people shoot needles in me. They had to literally go through every finger and try to draw blood because my blood wasn't coming out of any of my fingers. So they were doing it that way, and then this IV wasn't working, so they couldn't get any blood out of that, so they had to stick something here, stick something here. I have shot wounds everywhere in my hands. It was crazy. Very, very difficult experience. At least 100 plus shots. But I sat there and I just kind of was like, man, like, honestly, I thought, when I checked in, I thought it's time for me to go. It's time for me to leave this world. I really thought that's what I thought was next. And I was like, you know what? I'm happy. I'm content. I fought a good fight. I've fought a good life. I've fought the good fight to honor God's name, to honor the life He's given me, and I have nothing to be ashamed of. So I go through this experience, and it was hard. And so I'm there basically just kind of letting people stick needles in me all day long, tell me that I need to get my saturation level under or at a 90 something or something like that. But they put me on, I think, 80% oxygen. So, my saturation level was like at 80. Didn't have any oxygen going through me. But, I was just a body that was being stuck and prodded and all this stuff. But the truth is, they were trying to save my life. And I let them. I didn't have room to make any room for my own character flaws. When you're in this process of helplessness, you don't have room to be like, I wonder what John's going to say about me not taking the vaccine now. I wonder what Mary's going to say, how she's going to judge me for not doing that COVID test when I had the chance to. The reality is I could have got COVID. I thought I had it 2 years ago, but I could have it 3 years from today, and it wouldn't have made a difference. See, it doesn't matter, because you could get it 2 years ago, or you can get it 3 days from now. And that's the one thing we need to remember, is that no one controls the virus. You don't control it. Your arrogance, our ego may think we can control it. I was safe for 2+ years, I was safe for 2+ years. I had enough evidence to say, I'm a healthy person. I'm not going to get it. I don't have to worry about the vaccine. I don't have to worry about the virus. 2+ years with very little problems, except at the very beginning of 2020. So I had enough evidence to say I'm going to be okay. But the thing is you can get it. You could have got it 2 years ago, or you could get it 3 days from now. And that's the biggest thing we have to remember, is if we're willing to risk getting it 3 days from now. Now look, if you have a body of evidence that says, hey, look, I'm a healthy person. I did the same thing. I'm a healthy person, I assumed. People say, if all people would have got it a long time, it would have been you, Rush, because the way you work out and all this stuff, right? And so, yeah, I agreed with them, But hey, 2 days from now, 2 years ago, 3 days from now, 3 years from now, you can't control what the virus is going to do. And that's just the truth. A friend of mine reached out to me to ask me about the vaccine, asked me if I thought it was a good idea to get it. The reality is if you are willing, no, let me rephrase this. If you're willing to go through the most darkest, loneliest, isolated time of your life with the coronavirus and get sick, if you're willing to walk through that journey, and when I mean alone, I mean no visitors, nobody can come see you, nothing like that. If you're willing to go through that length and risk getting the virus or whatever, not risk getting the virus, then hey, that's on you. But remember that long, dark, lonely road, because it's there. It's waiting for you. It's waiting to consume you. It's sometimes waiting to kill you. And that's just a sad truth. It's a sad reality. It's willing for the most weakest, vulnerable host to take advantage of and manipulate you, and maybe destroy your hope, your energy, your enthusiasm, your encouragement. It's there to it's just hoping that you have a moment you give up. So if you're willing to go through that, then that's on you. But if you're not willing to, then you know what to do. You know what you know the opportunities. You know what you can take advantage of, or you can do the things you're doing that are working, and everything will be fine. But either way, nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you when you're going to get it. And if you took a vaccine, you wouldn't have got it, and all this BS. No one can tell you that. You just got to run the risk if you want to run that risk. If you want to get the vaccine, then get the vaccine. If you don't want to get the vaccine, then don't get the vaccine. But either way, you're not in control of this. We may think we are, but we're not. Now, this journey has been a humbling experience, because when I got checked in, the first thing the doctor said was, well, your BMI is you are a perfect candidate for this thing to kill you. And I was like, my BMI? It's like, shit, my body mass index. I was like, that's pretty sad to hear. It was really sad, and it was humiliating, and I gotta say, it was the truth. Now, here's the irony. I'm going to show you the irony here. Okay? Give me a second here. Okay, before I got hospitalized or before I was even sick, I posted this onto my refrigerator. It says, I want to lose 20 pounds. Think about that for a second. Before I got sick, I posted this. I want to lose 20 pounds. I mean, look, God's going to give you what you want. God's going to give you what you need when He wants to give it to you. And how you're going to get it, you're not going to be able to decide. Now, I've lost 20 plus pounds. Now, did I want to lose it the way I lost it? No, I did not. I wanted to exercise my way into this. But I lost it. And what is God trying to say right now with this message of losing this 20 pounds to me is the question I have to ask myself. What's He asking me? What is He saying to me right now? And my reality is I believe that He's asking me to detoxify elements of my life so that I can be renewed, reignited, reinvigorated, recreated in an image that's closer to what He wants for me. I did not go through this experience and just to be sick. This is not. I believe that this virus is not only a physical, for us to get sick, but it's a physical, spiritual, mental, and emotional virus that's designed to maybe break some wills of ours, some habits, some old habit selves that we have, to detoxify areas of our life that really need to be detoxified so that we can rebuild, renew, re-strengthen, recreate us in an image closer to Christ. Now, you hear me talk like this now, but that's the truth. Because, when you go through this experience, it is eye-opening. It wakes you up, If you don't walk out of this experience, especially when you're hospitalized and you have no one around you, no one to support you, no one to encourage you, if you don't walk through this experience without gaining something from it, then you don't really know what just happened to you. You don't really know what Christ is trying to manifest in our hearts, minds, bodies, souls, and spirits. In our suffering is when Christ comes to us. In our suffering, Christ comes to us to help heal us. And this is what I feel has happened because of my experience. Now, most of you guys know. Most of you guys know that Courtney's still in the hospital. She's in ICU. She's working. She's doing her part. I told her that we're in this together, but this is an individual journey too. This is an individual fight. It's an individual fight for her, just like it was for me for many days. But luckily, now that I'm out, we can FaceTime. Luckily, that she has family and people that are reaching out to her through FaceTime and stuff like that, and really giving her those blessings. So we got to stay in prayer for hope for her to heal 100% too. But I'm sharing this stuff with you because I really believe that sometimes there's another message God's trying to send to us through our suffering, and that's been my experience through my life. To be quite honest with you, through my suffering, I've learned so much, and He's made me a more capable, a more durable, a more compassionate, humanitarian type person, and I've been blessed by that. It may seem like it may seem like I came on here just to ramble or anything like that. I don't believe I am. I mean, the truth is, I went through one of the most difficult times anyone could probably ever go through, with the exception of people that are actually more severe, more sick, that are dealing with stage 4 cancer. When I think of those people and what they're going through physiologically, spiritually, and all the heartaches that they're experiencing, it is devastating. I went through coronavirus, and I can say that was in itself a really traumatic experience for me. I had, when I was getting those 100+ temperatures, I felt like I was possessed by. I felt my tearing of my flesh, and then when I came home, from ICU and everything, I was scared to go to sleep. I was scared to lay down in my bed, and I ended up having a couple of nightmares, because it was like the mind will manipulate you. The traumatic experience will manipulate you to believe that what you're going through, what you went through, was not real. Was that you're faking it. That there's more to go. That you have more trauma that's ahead of you. And that's what happened when I got home. I had trouble sleeping when I got home, really bad. And I'm still having trouble too, because my relaxed state, I can't reach that relaxed state because of all the traumatic shots and the waking up at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the mornings just to have shots stuck in me, I can't. I have to get that restful spirit, and that's what I'm praying for. I'm preparing for now, these next few days, because I want to get to a restful place when I go to sleep too. So, I guess the reason I'm shooting this video is because to bring awareness. I'm going to say it again. This is going through this process. Even when you're with somebody who loves and cares for you and caring for you at the home, they're there in trauma with you, and I know because I did it for six plus days, and Courtney was there beside me, a majority of those days, and I didn't want her to be there. I didn't. And I got to say, it was a very traumatic experience. But it's a long, dark, lonely road that is not for the weak. And this, and this, if you're in the hospital, I'm going to share with you. Okay, so I got out of ICU, and they were transporting me. They were transporting me to my next room, which is out of ICU. But before they transported me, went by one room, and there's this black man laying in the bed, just straight in the bed, straight across, no elevated or anything, just flat. And he's just laying there by himself in this ICU room. And I don't know, man, something about that guy just laying there by himself just really got to me. It was painful to see somebody so alone like that in a hospital bed, and probably dealing with coronavirus. It was really painful to see somebody like that by themselves. And then, the nurse was gracious enough to wheel me in to see Courtney. And it's the first time I had seen her since I had been hospitalized, and I hadn't had any contact with her through Facebook or anything like that, except the pictures she sent me one day. And but I got to see her, and it was very emotional. I touched her hand. I touched her feet, and then I went to the next phase, which was to phase out, and it was a very emotional experience. So people want to ask me if you know, they should get the vaccine and stuff like that. Well, here's the reality, and this is what a doctor told me. He said, "Look," he said, "you're gonna have if I were you, I'd get it in 90 days." Basically, that's what he said. He said, "If I were you, I'd get it in 90 days because you know." To share with you a story about a guy who he had just had coronavirus a few months ago, and he thought he was okay, and then when he got done, he got sick. He got more sick, and then that guy, he said he was just like you, in good shape and everything like that. But um, he passed away. So he said, 90 days, I need you to get the vaccine. And so you know what? I'm going to get the vaccine probably. I'm going to get the vaccine. He said, even if you have the antibodies, you need to get it. And I'm like, okay. And the truth is, here's the reality. Do I want to go through the same shit I just went through? Do I want to go through the same exact shit that I just went through just 4 days ago, or this last month? The answer is hell no. I don't want to go through that again. Are you crazy? I ain't trying to go down that road anymore. You know? So I'll be getting it pretty soon. But everyone has to make their own choice. Everyone has to make their own decision. And hey, like I said, you can't control whether the virus is going to come get you or not. You cannot. If it's going to come get you, it's going to come get you. And that's just the truth. And, you know, vaccine, we've seen it. Vaccine or no vaccine, it's getting people. So it's going to get you, it's going to get you. But, you know, just be prepared. Just do the things necessary to try to keep yourself as healthy as possible. That's the best advice I can give you. And if it means taking a vaccine so you can stay out of the hospital like I was in, I would heavily encourage that. Because it's a very painful road for those closest to you. It's a very painful road for people not to see how you're doing. You know, it is a very painful road. And, you know, and I don't ever want to wish that upon any of you guys at all. I don't know. I wanted to share this video with you guys. You know, I'm a little, obviously I'm passionate about this situation because it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. It doesn't matter if you got it 2 years ago, if you had it 5 days ago, or you might have it 3 days from now. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do to stop it unless you're taking care of yourself and doing those things. But even then, you're not going to be able to stop it one way or the other. You're just really not. So the arrogance, the egoism, like, I get it because I spent 2 years believing that, hey, I'm fine. I mean, I wear a custom shield. I did, you know, I thought, hey, look, hey. But look where I spent the last almost week and a half, you know, in the hospital with the coronavirus. So I'm just telling you to have some humility and make sure you make the right decisions for your life, you know. And that's all I want to tell you guys. I got to say this too. I want to thank you, everybody, for your prayers and your encouragement. It really means a lot, you know. Like I have never been. I've never been the type person. I've never been a person to. Maybe I have a few times throughout my journey, you know, where I said, hey, I need some prayers, and I've reached out to people to pray for me. I really have, because there's some parts where you have to know when you're in your own physical, spiritual, emotional turmoil. And sometimes other people's prayer, most often than not, other people's prayers for your own health and wellness will replace your inability to do it for yourself. And having people like you guys to pray for over me and really send me light. You know, all you have to do is reach out like this, just like this, to somebody on Facebook. All you have to do is do that. And you know, because we don't know how We don't know how powerful God is, but a prayer hand, a healing hand, these things, these are how we communicate to one another today. But you may think they're so insignificant, but they really are significant. Because guess what? It's like lighting, I say like lighting a match to a candle. You have to have faith. You have to light the match, light the candle, and believe that Christ will answer your prayers. You have to light the match, light the candle, so that Christ will answer your prayers. So your prayer hands, your all these thoughtful messages were really great to have. You know, a few of them really good to see. But yeah, they've been great personal messages about how I inspired you. And from the 254, Peyton, thank you for that message. We think that the 254, everyone knows, Waco, Texas, Baylor Bears, you think that little message didn't resonate with me. But it did, because the people that you think won't take the time to think about you, or that you just don't know, and that they're thinking about you, and they are. And I'm really grateful for that. But bunch of great prayers sent my way, and for Courtney too. Courtney, 100%. Her family's enlisting prayer warriors to pray over her, so that she can get through this, so she can get home, she can care for her son, she can care for her family, care for her life, and get her back to being 100%. I said it again. I learned a lot of this experience. I shared it earlier about when I said that we had a fantastic phone call. We had an amazing phone call, and I shared with her my thoughts about what God is trying to teach us from this. And the reality is, the truth is, we both know that this is a redefining moment for our lives. Look, I lost 20 plus pounds the hard way, but it's a redefining moment for our lives, individually and together. And I always say that the death of the coronavirus, or whatever name you want to attach to it, it may represent just more than just a mere pathogen that's designed to make us sick. Maybe it symbolizes something that's in our bodies that's eager to be detoxified and rejected, because maybe there's some larger detoxification that has to happen in our lives for us to live a better life. Whatever it is, I will say, Christ has my attention. He has my attention. He's saying, dude, remember that 20 pounds that you put on the refrigerator? Remember that 20 pounds? Well, guess what? You got 20 pounds of work to do now. You got 20 pounds of, we're going to see what you're made of, Rush. We're going to see if this, if you learn something from this, if you gain something from this. Are you going to revolutionize the man that I created you to be? And that's what I believe, that's what he wants. And, it is, I put in a message earlier that I know it's a time to be still and to listen to the small, still voice of God guide and navigate us to the changes he wants us to make in our lives. I really believe that. I believe that for my life. I do believe that. And it's like, hey, dude, 20 pounds. I put this on that way before I caught this shit, before I caught the coronavirus. And guess what? I lost 20 pounds, but now it's like, now what? Let's see what you're gonna do about it now. Let's see how you're gonna sculpt your body, mind, and spirit and soul more like in my image. And I'm rambling. It's a passionate week. It's a passionate day. It's been a passionate time for me. Very difficult, to say the least. And but we're here. We're here to take back our lives. The cleansing has begun. This process, listen, this process of this coronavirus in my life is over. It ended when I started getting treatment. It started to end when I was getting treatment. I was like, dude, this is over already. Like, in my 6th day, I didn't think it was over. It was just I felt like it was just beginning. But the minute I sat in that hospital bed and I started receiving the treatment and just let it go and let the treatment come, the minute I just started doing it, I said, this process is already won. This is already a victory. This is it. It's over. All I have to do is walk through the necessary garbage that I have to go through, the shots and this and that and this and the heart monitor and the whatever, blah, 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 and more shots and all this stuff. All I have to do is walk through that and I'm home. That's it. This victory is already won. It was already won the minute I got there. And that's the way I feel. And yeah, it's easy. But the first 6 days were really tough. And they were more physical, spiritual, emotional battles that I was having within myself to try to get myself to realize that what's going on is not okay in my life. That's what I believe. What's going on in my life was not okay. And somehow God wanted me to get rid of the 20 pounds of turmoil and pain and emotions and some of the toxic things I may be struggling with. Guys, I'm sorry. It's an emotional time for me. I just wanted to share this message with you. I love you guys. Thank you for your prayers. Keep those prayers coming. For those, everyone's prayers really have been really tremendous, and I really appreciate it, and I value you so much. I'm going to get better. I have some oxygen stuff I got to get. I have to keep doing and take my time to heal, but get ready because we're getting ready to rock and roll this time. Rock and roll in a different way. All right? I love you guys. Have peace and enlighten you. And remember that the ocean refuses no river.